I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Monday, April the 23rd. We've got a head of steam coming into this marketing week here. We had a higher fat cattle market last week. Our cattle on feed report, such a relief, was neutral and on the friendly side of neutral, and it reached those lofty expectations that the analysts had out there, and they did a great job of predicting this past month's report, or the report this month for last month's numbers. And it's just a good week here. We're coming in and the weather is starting to straighten out now. If you've got cattle to sell, it's probably a good time to do it. Our fats are going to hit a speed bump here within the next 2 to 3 weeks. We know that's going to happen. It's inevitable. We're going to get into some heavier numbers, but I don't think it's going to be the huge wall of cattle that we can't get over. We've knocked some holes in this thing with the blizzards and moving cattle from the southern plains up to the north and out west to fill some slaughter needs. And there's some holes poked in that wall. I don't think it's quite as big, and I don't think it's going to be as hard to bust through as everybody had advertised. And we've built some market position here. Your feeder market's going pretty good. If you've got yearlings to sell, you might want to do that. They're going to have a big sale in Joplin here on Monday. They've got like 30 loads of yearlings. There's one deal of 900 head of big 8-weight yearlings there. They're going to have a good sale. And guys are in the mode, they're in the mood right now to buy cattle. If you've got small packages of lightweight cattle, it's a good time to do that. You've still got some fresh demand as this grass is kind of late turning green here, but you've got people that are hungry for cattle to turn out on some grass traps. And if you're in the southeast, you got some small bunches of cattle. You need to do that, because as we start getting more towards later spring here and start getting into some of these holidays, especially when we get closer to Memorial Day, a lot of these order buyers will start to suck back a little bit. They're not going to have the orders. Everybody will have all their cattle turned out. They won't need any more. There won't be any cattle moving. There won't be any yearlings moving. All the cattle will be turned out on grass, and everybody just dials things down a little bit. So while we're doing business and things are going good, it's a good time to market some cattle. Let's look at the board for last week. June live cattle ended the week at 103.72, up 7 cents for the week. The April spot market had to really run to try to catch the fats, and then about the time it got to them, the cash market ran some more, so it's got some more running to do, although there's very little activity going on in the April live cattle contract. But it ended the week at 119.35, up $2.80 for the week. May feeder cattle 139.32, down $1.05. April 137.30, down $2.07. Your fat cattle trade, like I said, through Thursday they'd sold 61,700 head in the 5 area feeding region. That was mostly all in the southern plains, $2 to $4 higher, from 121 to 122. Most all of that happening on Thursday. Then Friday, after your cattle on feed report, so this is new bullish indicators here. On the fundamental side, your northern plains sold cattle another $1 to $2 higher than that good market they had the week before, from 123 to 124, and $5 higher dressed at 195 mostly. Box beef cutout values for the average trade of last week were lower again, but we think they probably bottomed out last week, and they should start finding some new drive here as we get closer to these grilling holidays. But choice cutouts, average trade of last week was $211.78, down $1.56. Selects at $199.35, down $178. Had a big slaughter last week, 624,000, one of the biggest slaughters, if not the biggest for the week that we've had all this year. But that got 624,000 compared to 605 last week and 601 the same week a year ago. But the cattle on feed report was good. They come out with April 1st inventories at 107.4, with placements all the way down there at 90.7, which sounds really, really light, but it's really in comparison to a huge placement number that we had a year ago, March. And then the marketing's come out at 96.1. So that's a good, neutral, leaning towards bullish, friendly report here for the cattleman. Let's look at your cash feeders for last week. Ended steady to $3 lower. I know everybody was excited to how well feeders were selling, but they really gained all that ground the week before that. You remember we didn't have hardly any marketings there through most of March and early April. Then when the fat market started bouncing back, and we didn't think it would, things started getting a little bit more support. And then we had some big sales that sold really well. And this last week they were very good, but just didn't quite measure up as a whole. So steady to $3 lower in your auctions on your cash feeders. Your real-time index on Beef Market Central ended the week at 136.42, and that was $1.62 lower than that it ended the previous week. So they were just off just a little bit. But your yearling feeder cattle prices are very close to year-ago levels. So we're doing good. We're not in any problem here. It looks like maybe winter's over. We're starting to see more spring-like weather everywhere. You look at the end of last week on Friday, some individual quotes. Crawford, Nebraska is newly reporting into Cattle Market Central, and excited to be able to talk about them on a regular basis, but a really good sale right there in the heart of Nebraska. Crawford, Nebraska, 53 head of 579-pound steer calves bring 194. Dunlap, Iowa had 75 head of 782-pound steers on Friday, bring 146. That's your feeder flash for Monday.